Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the second part of our Filmora 14 for Beginners guide. In this video, we take a look at trimming, splitting, and cutting clips on the timeline. We learn a couple of techniques as well as keyboard shortcuts on how to go about this. Let's dive into Filmora. I'm back in Filmora, and as you can see in the media bin, I have imported a test clip. We're going to use this test clip to learn a couple of trimming, editing, and cutting techniques. So the first thing I'm going to do is import this clip onto my timeline, just like that. I'm going to match the settings to the media. Now, when you look at this clip, it has audio. If you're going to play it back,
Hello and welcome.
but it's barely visible. You're supposed to see a waveform on the clip. How I like to go about this is to normalize the loudness of the clip so that the waveform is visible and I can tell where the audio starts or ends. How I'm going to do this is just select the clip, head on over to the property section, click on audio, and just below adjustment, you can see auto normalization. I'm going to turn that on, and now the waveform is barely visible. This is good enough for me, and we can proceed. Now, the first step, when we listen at this clip from the beginning, it's mostly silent as I was preparing, and you can already tell the section where I start to talk is somewhere around there.
Hello and welcome.
Yes, correct. So we do not need this beginning part. How do we get rid of this? When you hover onto the clip at the beginning, the cursor changes. This tool tells you you're about to trim your clip. So you can just click and hold and just drag that up to where the audio begins and release it. When you release it, the clip automatically goes back to the beginning. Now, this is called ripple editing. Ripple editing is where the clip will automatically fill a blank space that was there. And another way to go about this, let's import another clip. We're going to add this clip just after the one that is on our timeline. And we want to add it immediately after I'm done speaking. When we approach the end over here, I think I stopped speaking roughly around here.
Thank you. Till next time.
Yes. So the rest of it is a blank space. So I want to trim this clip up to
Till
where
next time.
I stop speaking, which is right about there. So when I go to the end of this video, this is the video we're trimming, and I hover over the end, the cursor changes. We drag this up to where our playhead is, and when we release, the other clip automatically merges the space. As I've said, this is called ripple editing. Another way to ripple edit is to go to where the beginning is. We'll go to where the audio starts, and I'm going to hold Option and the opening bracket, just like that. Option and opening bracket. That trims the clip up to the beginning. At the end, we go to where the audio ends, and we hold Option and the closing bracket. It trims the clip up to the end of that video.
Till next time.
Just like that. So that is called ripple editing. Assuming you do not want to ripple edit a clip, how do you go about it? When you look at the shortcuts just above the timeline, there is a link that is highlighted, and it's called Disable Auto Ripple. When you click on this, ripple editing is disabled. So that means when you hover onto the beginning and do that, the clip remains as it is. Say we had the second video on the timeline. When we edit the end up to where the audio is, it does not automatically close the space. So that way we have disabled ripple editing. By default, this is usually enabled in Filmora, but you can disable it if you prefer to. The next way to edit our clip is to use the smart editing tool. How do we go about this? We can select our clip, right click, and choose the smart editing tool. Under the smart edit tool, we are going to choose AI text-based editing. We need to choose a language. On the drop down, you can choose the language that you've used. I'll choose English UK and say OK. Once conversion is done, this is the pop-up window that appears. On the right, we have the text. This was transcribed from our video. This appears as subtitles over here, and you can just go about them and correct them if you wish. when you look at the beginning, there are 3 dots. 3 dots indicate silence. When we play this, you can note it's on the 3 dots. And when I start to speak,
Hello and welcome.
so the beginning is highlighted, or rather, the silence is highlighted by the 3 dots. And we can edit this out. So when I go to this and highlight that section, when I hit delete on my keyboard, it has gotten rid of the beginning. So when I start to play this,
And
it goes directly to the text. Same thing with the end. When you note, the end is highlighted by the 3 dots. This indicates the silence. When I delete this, it has gotten rid of the silence in the end.
till next time.
Just like that. There are also silences in the middle of the clip. For example, when you go to here, we can place the cursor there and we can click on play.
Welcome. My name is Dennis.
Very minor silences. So you need to listen through and analyze which is a big silence, which is a small silence. So we can take a look at this.
Filmora 13.
So this is a big section. Yes, I was doing a retake. Now we can get rid of this as well using the text-based editing tool. We can highlight it just like that. You need to include the brackets as well so that it can remove the silent section.
Filmora 13. If you'd like to
Just like that. There's also an option to delete all silent clips. When we click on this, it deletes all the silent clips that were on the clip. So let me undo so that we can have the beginning and the end. We have the beginning and the end. When we click on delete all silent clips, it removes all the silences. Now, at times this makes the clip to sound unnatural. So I would just use it sparingly, or just maybe listen out and judge if that is what you're looking for.
My name is Dennis.
Yes, just like that. When we are done with this, we can click on export to timeline. And just like that, our clip has been edited. So that is the smart edit. Depending on what you want, it loads the subtitles automatically, but you can choose to delete that. I'll just highlight, click delete, and they're done. So our clip is edited just like that. So that is the AI text-based editing under the smart editing tool. Another method of doing our edits is when you have multiple clips on your timeline and there are sections where, for example, the beginning where I was preparing to talk just before I start. Instead of doing the edits on the timeline, there is a way we can load an already edited clip onto the timeline. How do we go about this? We're going to utilize in and out points. So we're going to click our clip that is on the media bin. We're going to just click it and it starts.
And welcome.
Sorry about that. It starts playing on the player. When you look just below here, there's a button called mark in. When you hover over that, and mark out. That is an in point and an out point. So I'm going to just preview my clip, and just before I start speaking, I'm going to click on the in. So that indicates our in. The software automatically uses the end as an out point, but you can also dictate your out point. So we can go, I think I stopped speaking just about there. Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah, just about there. So that is going to be our endpoint, and I'm going to mark it by clicking on that. So now we have our in and out points. Now, assuming we didn't have this clip on the timeline, I'm going to delete it. Assuming we didn't have this clip on the timeline, when I drag this clip onto the timeline just like that, it drags the clip that had an in and out point without the beginning section. So when we play this back,
Hello and welcome.
it does not have the beginning silence and the end silence.
Hello.
And the end. So that is another way we can trim our clips. You just trim the beginning off and the end, and we load it onto the timeline. When we have done this, you can do this to a clip, and then later on you're like, you do not want to include the in and out point. This is simple. You can just go right click on the clip, and just below here you can clear your in and out point. And once you drag the clip, it will be the whole clip inclusive of the silence in the beginning and the end. So that is how we can trim clips using the in and out points. Another way to make our edits is to cut. And with our video, I've loaded our original video onto the timeline, just like it is over here. When we want to make cuts, or rather trim, there are a couple of ways we can go about it. When we look at the playhead, it has some scissors in the middle. You use this to split the clip. When I go to just where the audio starts and I click this, it splits the clip into two. So it has separated the beginning. When I go to the end, just when I was done speaking, I can also split the clip. I'll click on this and it splits the clip. I can highlight the silent clip and click on delete. Same with the beginning, click on delete. So when I play this,
Hello and welcome.
our clip is trimmed. Now there's shortcuts to that. I'll just undo. The shortcut to doing that is pressing C. When we press the C key, we get some sort of eraser. The cursor changes to eraser. You realize the one that was on the playhead disappears because our cursor can now make the splits. So we go to where our audio begins and we just click and it makes the cut, or rather it splits. Just the same thing with the end. We go to where the audio ends and click. Now to go back to our cursor, there are two ways. You can choose to click the V key. It goes back to our cursor, or just above the timeline, you can switch and use the select. As you can see, the select key, the shortcut is V. The quick split mode, the shortcut is C. So when I click that, our cursor goes back and we can highlight the clip, choose delete, highlight the clip, choose delete. That way, we have trimmed, or rather we have cut our clip according to our needs. We can also make the splits in the middle of the clip. How do we go about this? We realize these are silence. That's a silent section. So I will click on that. So it splits that clip. The second one, I'll change my cursor up to around there and click. So I'll click on V to go back to the select tool, highlight the clip and delete. So our cut has been made.
If you'd like to see more tutorials,
just like that. So that is how we can use the cut tool, or rather the split tool as they call it, to edit our clip. And that's the end of part 2 of our tutorial series. In part 3, we'll take a look at keyframes and some clip properties in Filmora. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.